everyone. Welcome back to Wonder Far, Wonder Deep. I'm so excited to have you guys here. This is a podcast where we grab some tea. Right now, I am drinking raspberry leaf tea. If you know, you know. Today, I wanted to talk about something that's been happening lately, and it's related to social media. I want to know, what do you guys think of social media nowadays? Do you think social media is dead? Because I feel like it's slowly gravitating towards that. I feel like with the TikTok ban that was happening in the United States, it really had me thinking about social media just in general. As the years have gone by, we've seen more and more videos of people talking about how they don't want to be on social media as much, how they've deleted their social media accounts, how they have decided to go and touch grass, have decided to get more hobbies, have decided to reduce their amount of time on social media platforms and just on their phone in general. And it really made me think, like, is social media dying? And I say that because I feel like we've reached the limit of what social media can do. People have become so addicted to social media in general where they cannot actually do a lot of normal things. And I put normal in quotation marks, like they cannot watch a movie without checking their phone, for example. They have very short attention spans. We have this addiction. Maybe it's not to social media, but we have an addiction to our phone. And I think that addiction to our phone is because of social media. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Let me start this by saying that when I grew up, I think I must have been in grade 7 or 8 when Facebook became, oh, why don't you join Facebook? Like, everyone's joining Facebook kind of thing. And so I've had Facebook for a long time. When Facebook first came out, I'm telling you, it was the thing. You would poke people, you would like everyone's comments, you would try and post as many photo albums as you could. It was like a memory jar. It was a great place to communicate with people, to keep in touch with people. When we graduated junior high and we all went our separate ways, we all maybe went to different high schools, we were still able to communicate with each other and we were still able to catch up with each other. And then Instagram came in. And I actually don't even remember when Instagram came in, honestly. But when Instagram came, it was kind of like a semblance of the same thing. We were able to share our pictures, but it was in a different kind of way. Like, this was more in a public way. Facebook was more of a private situation. You just had like your friends there. I would say Facebook was the equivalent of like close friends for Instagram. And then Instagram started to change their algorithm. Everything changed. Facebook kind of died out. Like, my generation, actually, I feel like some people still do use Facebook from my generation. I'm not gonna say that they don't, but Facebook to me it died out. Like, I didn't, after like high school, mid high school, I feel like I was kind of like not really interested in Facebook. I didn't like how so many people had access to my photos. I didn't like how so many people, like, maybe I just didn't want to be their friend anymore or anything, but they still had access to me. There was a clear moment in time when people were like, oh, message me on Facebook. I was like, oh, I don't use Facebook. Like, that I'm not messaging you on Facebook. I'm not doing that. I remember it very clearly. I think it just became exhausting, to be honest. And it was also a thing of like people prodding, like, why didn't you accept my friend request? Did you see these photos that I put up on Facebook, kind of thing? And it was just like a bit too much. I'm like in between millennial and Gen Z, and I very much remember playing outdoors, going outside. And then I also remember the transition of then going into social media. So I grew up like half and half, basically, which I am appreciative of at the same time, because growing up half and half, you kind of are very nostalgic to the times before social media. My response to, is social media dying, is yes. I do think it is going to start to die. I think people are going to get very tired of social media very quickly. And that's when people are going to start moving out and starting to go and touch grass. Social media content is not going to be the same. 2025, we're going to see a huge shift in how social media is and how people engage with social media. I think it's not going to be something where people are bed rotting and scrolling for hours and hours anymore. I don't think it's going to be like that because I think the environment of social media will change. The top 4 platforms that people really use. You know what? Let me look on my Play Store right now. Mind you, I'm not talking about Red Note for a reason. Okay, so we have number 1, of course, is Red Note now because of everything that happened. Are you guys on Red Note? Because I am. I am on Red Note. So then after that is TikTok. Number 3 is Threads. Number 4 is Instagram. Number 5 is Carrot, which looks like it is a shopping app. We're going to exclude that one. Number 6 is Facebook. 7 is Blue Sky. Okay. Yes, Blue Sky. 8 is Clapper. I have not heard of that one. Number 9 is Reddit. And 10 is X. So, as y'all can see, a bunch of the social medias that I have named are ones that have very poor environments that encourage hate, encourage poor mannerisms. And with the people who run those platforms, I feel like particularly with recent events on how they have talked about masculinity and they're bringing out this red pill energy, I feel like it's going to start to increase content that is not welcoming to everybody. I will just say that. Because these environments are not going to be welcoming, they're not going to be places where people want to engage. Yes, I do think there are other social platforms that people can go to. Like I just mentioned, Red Note and this new one, Clapper. Clapper, was it called? I already forget the name of it. It seems like a weird name. But at least for Red Note, I've gone on Red Note. I have explored it. I've actually been on Red Note before because I was just curious about it. The main thing that I was looking at while I was there was people's morning routines and evening routines. Like that is my obsession. I love those. And so I would watch them. The thing is, I don't think it is better than TikTok. I don't think its algorithm is better than TikTok, and I actually don't really like its layout. I feel like 2025 is going to see a huge exodus of social media. People are either going to stop using social media, like cold turkey it, or they're going to use it a lot less than what we were seeing in the past. And what were people going to do? They're going to revert back to times when I was a kid. And so people are going to go and look for hobbies. We're going to see people outside more. And don't get me wrong, I feel like people will record these and they will post it, but we're going to see a lot more content about people finding themselves again outside of social media, outside of their house. That's what I think is going to happen. I actually have that same sentiment. It wasn't the TikTok ban that actually brought this on, though. Last year really made me realize social media is kind of ruining my life because it's taking so much of my time. Like, I'm just doom scrolling, and there's so many things that I could be doing that are productive. And I feel like as I slowly lessened my time on social media and started focusing on different hobbies, on going out more, on trying to make more friends and better friends, and trying to do all of these things in the outside world, it made me realize, wow, like social media really makes you lose yourself in many ways. There's so many things that you don't do because you're just scrolling on social media. And even if people do not leave social media entirely, I think with the lessening of social media and with the increase of content on, find a hobby, go traveling, go and do this, go and make friends by this way, I think we're going to start seeing that shift. Now, I'm curious, for those of you who were impacted by the TikTok ban, where were you thinking of going if TikTok did get banned? Was your idea, I'm going to go back to Instagram? Was it, I'm going to just focus on YouTube, I'll watch content there? Or was it, I'm not really even trying to do social media anymore. Let me go outside. Let me go and touch some grass. Let me see what's going on out there. Let me try that and see how I feel with it. I'm very interested to know, because I feel like that would be very interesting to see where people thought they were heading, at least when all of this was going on with the TikTok ban. And actually, for those of you who were not part of the TikTok ban, if TikTok just so happened to get banned in your country, or maybe it just stopped working, where would you go after that? Would you take that opportunity to kind of detox from social media? Or would you find somewhere else to go to? And in your head, what was the first app you would hop onto? I feel like mine would probably be YouTube. I feel like I'm very much a TikTok, YouTube girly, which I feel like they kind of cancel each other out because TikTok's short, YouTube's long. But I can't stand Instagram the way it looks. I can't. But also, when I started detoxing from TikTok and from social media, when I put that parameter, okay, you can only be on TikTok for like an hour a day instead of the whole day, it really helped me to fix my attention span. Slowly by slowly, I'm still working on it, but I am able to handle YouTube and longer form content in a better way. Mind you, it's on times two speed because people be talking slow. Now, the reason that I ask if some people are even thinking about moving to a different app, or if they're thinking, you know what, I'm going to take the time to learn how to disconnect from social media, is because I feel like there is a huge fatigue going on where people are tired of social media. They're tired of the lies, the need for constant validation, the need for constant engagements, the anxiety that it causes, the depression it could cause, the impacts it has on mental health. There's so many negative things that come with social media. I think there's some positives, of course. There's always positives and there's always negatives. But do the negatives outweigh the positives? I don't know. I just think it's interesting. Do the negatives of social media outweigh the positives? I actually, like, when I'm thinking about it, I actually can't decide because on one hand, the negativities of social media is so impactful, especially if you are constantly on social media. I think if we have to look at it at a lens of someone who moderately is on social media, they might be like on it for like an hour tops two, maybe not every day, like they're not constantly looking on their phone. Social media is fine for those people. However, when it turns into an addiction, that is when issues arise. But I feel like that for everything, like everything can potentially turn into an addiction and then it becomes a not so great thing. But is that the reason why someone became addicted, because of that thing, or is it because they were not using it properly? Ultimately, I feel like social media is a tool and we have to learn how to use a tool correctly. But companies are praying that people become addicted to social media, and that's why they're making it very much algorithm based instead of content based. Originally, when Facebook was created, it was very much like a memory jar. We put everything in there. Originally, when Instagram happened, I was able to see all the things that my friends posted. And then over time, as the algorithms changed, it became something very different. It was not something that was linking us together anymore. It was something where it was like, I think I know what you're thinking, and I'm going to give you that. It was like feeding our brain dopamine hit after hit after hit, hoping that we would get addicted, and we did. A vast majority of us did. But I think people wanting to move away from social media, it's like I had talked about in my previous episode, breaking the matrix, moving away from this simulation that we're in. And it is wanting us to fall into this trap of social media, to lose ourselves in social media and fall into like this pit of despair surrounding social media. That's what I'm thinking. And it's kind of very refreshing to see people very slowly starting to want to detox from almost everything online, really. I have a friend who has a flip phone now. She's completely gone, you guys. Radio silence, my friends. Radio silence. It's just really cool to see people slowly going back to like the old days. I think people are realizing how happy they are off of social media. When I came off of social media, I was really happy. I'm not completely off social media. I didn't delete my accounts or anything like that. I placed measures on my phone where I am only on social media for a specific amount of time, and eventually it got to a point where I was kind of like, oh, I don't even want to be on social media. I want to read a book. Yeah. it eventually started to get to that point, and it was such a freeing feeling to not be shackled to social media, to not wake up and just open my TikTok app. I think it became such a huge weight off of my shoulders to do that. Not only detoxing off of social media, but also then going outside and intentionally making new friends, going out to places that I like, joining activities that I like, learning how to do things. Creative process was so big and I loved it. And it was something also where I thought, oh my god, I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think I could crochet. Okay. I didn't think I could stay consistent with Pilates, but here I am. Like, these are things that I don't know, like I would see other people do it on social media. I'd be like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be consistent. That's not me. But it was me. But I also had to work on what my mind was thinking. And I feel like what the algorithm does is because it caters to what you're thinking, it will consistently feed you negativity. And you have to purposely try to push yourself out of a negative algorithm to a positive algorithm. And even when you do put yourself into a positive algorithm, sometimes the algorithm will slip in a few negative things into your feed, and if you engage with it, it will keep bringing more negative things. And so you have to purposely remind yourself not to engage with that content. It's like a cycle. Is social media dying? I think it is. And I am really, really excited to see what people do with a life where they don't feel shackled to their phones. I am so interested in it. This has been really fun. I am so happy to have gotten this off my chest because I've been thinking about it for a while and I feel like nobody is really talking about it as much as they should. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Wonder Far, Wonder Deep. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give it a like or a thumbs up and share this with your friends. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. You can message me on Instagram. I know. I said all of that just to tell you to go to Instagram. Message me on Instagram or you can message me on YouTube. We can chat more about this. All right, guys, I am off. I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Ciao.